What is up, guys? Welcome back to another part of this Infectious Madness of Dr. Dekker playthrough. I was in part 3 now.
Midnight each day.
On Valentine's night.
Time as you know it freezes.
20 minutes past 10.
Keep up, Doctor.
Thinks we're going to smother her in her sleep.
I'm a grave digger, Doctor.
I was at home.
David is my husband.
All on my lonesome.
Stabbed him with a steak knife.
Nothing changes.
I'm a qualified angel of death when I'm dancing.
You get this day over and over.
Hilda.
I black out.
I don't think she's got long.
And Laurie just...
Naked on the beach.
Hannah.
Is that it for today?
Yeah, all these people are crazy. They all think they got some type of superpowers. So I finished questioning them all. You can tell because there's a green dot, so there's nothing else to get from them. They told you everything they had. So we can go to the next day.
David hunts,
I can change my skin.
then skins.
Dr. Dekker dated his patients.
I had a hot date.
We went out for drinks.
I took photos of Jessica.
Dr. Dekker did
These
phone
people were
Valentine's
freaky.
Day.
ask me for Nathan's number.
There was a girl there.
Am I wrong to keep the locket?
I'm allowed to talk to her, aren't I?
He was preoccupied with finding
Photographs.
patterns.
Rocking chair.
I haven't been back to the beach since
I had a bit of a shaky loop incident.
where I find something
I set fire
beautiful in the sea.
Oh, he's an
to Hannah's
arsonist.
clothes in the garden.
I dug the grave.
I wish I'd said goodbye.
Dr. Dekker cursed me.
It didn't weigh enough to have a body in it.
Yo, all these people need a... They don't need a doctor. They need a
Doctor,
mental
You
institute.
surprised me. Reminds me of Officer Yates. Did I ever mention I had a special friend in the police force?
No.
Nah, it's not something you drop politely into a conversation. He's been doing some digging and he's found a couple things. There's a crime scene report that goes into all the gory details and another report that's about a patient you're seeing today, Claire. I'll put them both on the desk for you. And thanks for the grief counselling, by the way. It's really been helping, you know, I'm so glad you're here.
Act 3, Spite. Act 2 was, I think, Valentine's Day. We had to find out what they all did for Valentine's Day. I think that's when the doctor got killed. Or sometime around that day. Claire. Yeah, let's get into questioning her.
I've been to the lake house regularly, keeping an eye on David. I saw the girl again, the one I told you about. She was playing outside.
Yeah, she says she sees this girl. I think it's either her or some ghost, or a ghost of her. Or she could be just delusional.
It makes for interesting reading, doesn't it? I can tell you're dying to ask me about it. Fire away.
The report says you were arrested for murder. Wait. So did he die? Did the guy die?
That's what it says. I can see you're confused. The police say that David is dead, fatally wounded when I stabbed him. The coroner says that David is dead. Everyone says that David is dead. There was even a funeral.
Because he's dead.
But I know. He's alive.
Wait a minute. She says she's been seeing him. Maybe she'd... How could you have a funeral if David isn't dead?
He's buried at Henley Church. You can go see for yourself. There's even a headstone. One of your other patients was a pallbearer. I never forget her face. You should ask him.
Who, Bryce? This guy?
Hello, Doctor. I've been thinking about our last session, and I just wanted you to know that I'm not a bad person. I know taking naked photographs is wrong, but you don't know what it's like until you face the same temptation. I'm assuming you don't know what it's like. Do you have an extra hour, Doctor?
No, I don't have an extra hour. Why is this man taking photos of people, though? Just go look at some porn. If he's that desperate, I mean, I don't know. Let's ask him, did he bury?
I'm actually a classically trained pallbearer. There are a lot of health and safety considerations. Not everybody can do it. Well, properly at least. Occasionally I step in if the funeral director is short-shouldered. I do remember her face. She wasn't upset in the usual way. She seemed agitated. Her husband must have been a giant. The coffin was so heavy. I remember because aft port side sprained his ankle. That and he wasn't lifting correctly.
Oh, okay, so pallbearers are the people that lift the caskets or the coffins. Yeah, you know, at funerals. So he's a grave digger and a pallbearer. David, did Claire ask you to do something?
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about, Doctor. I saw Claire Castleford's husband in the coffin myself before carrying him to the grave. He is in the ground. I'm sure it wouldn't take much for the police to get an order to have him exhumed. Just make sure it's done on Tuesday morning when I'm off.
Exhume, isn't that when they like dig up the body to check it?
You're playing games with me, Doctor. I was going to tell you what I know about the murder weapon, but now, well,
crap.
Now you just have to go without.
I should have said that then.
I overheard your assistant earlier. I know about that paper spike. It was sharp. What I really wanted to tell you was, there's someone else in my hour. A hooded figure, watching me and following me. I followed it too.
Who, the Grim Reaper? What is he talking about?
I don't know who it is. My initial thought was that it was you. That I told you about my affliction and somehow you'd got it too. Now I think maybe it's the military or some organization that wants to use the hour themselves. Maybe it's Dr. Dekker risen from the dead. I need to talk to you about him.
So now he's into conspiracy theories. Alright, what else? He wants to talk.
I spied on Dr. Dekker, not long before he was murdered. I'm not sure I should tell you what I saw in his basement.
Wait, you went over to his house? Oh, he spied on. So he followed him, but how'd he get in his house? What did you see in the basement?
I'd been feeling uneasy with Dr. Dekker for some time.
Okay.
I mentioned how he'd changed before, so I began spying on him at home. One night, the basement door was open, and Dekker was returning upstairs. I skipped past him, and there she was, a girl. It was difficult to tell. It was dark, and she was chained.
Maybe he was into dominatrix. He was a freak too. He had a fetish. How was he getting in? I mean, why was he going over Dr. Dekker's house? Is that where his sessions were happening?
Whatever it is that's following me, it doesn't want to catch me yet. If I move towards it, it runs away. And when I follow it past temptations. A bar brawl, an open till, an open bedroom window. Like it's testing me.
Maybe it's his conscience.
Dr. Dekker frequently used that paper spike on his desk as an example. I'm sure he did it with the other patients too. He'd make me look at it, touch the point to see how sharp it was. He'd tell me that because I think it's sharp, it will hurt me. But if I thought it was nothing, it could pass right through my hand.
Yeah, okay, this isn't mind over matter. There's physics here.
I removed the chains, dressed her, and sat her in the police station. There's no evidence, though. No evidence of what he'd done. But she was free. I saved her. I'm not evil. I destroyed evil.
Oh, okay, so this is in, I'm thinking now, this is in his hour that he went to the house, spied on him, went past him, saw the girl, took her to the police station, all within his hour. And he says he destroys evil. Maybe he killed the doctor.
I'm surprised I haven't been approached earlier. I mean, my skills and the military. Special ops would be a breeze, wouldn't it? Waltz in past everyone during the midnight hour, get whatever you want, and return to friendly soil. It also makes me think that they might already know all of that, and that they want to get rid of me in case I tell anyone else. Would you do something for me if they get me?
Like what? Yes, I'll do something for you. What is that?
Would you tell Jessica I love her? She didn't really know me that well, but I did love her. And also, there's a hard drive in the bottom drawer of my drinks cabinet. Please destroy it. Please, don't look at it.
So that's where he has all his freaky pictures. Who's Jessica, though?
I split the brawl up.
That's it?
I did nothing. I'm not stealing any more.
Okay, that's good.
I looked in.
Oh, I know you did.
Watching other people is somehow built into our genes, Doctor. There was an old woman in bed.
Oh, heck no.
I went inside.
Oh, hell no.
Her bed covers were smoking.
What?
I think she'd fallen asleep holding a cigarette. I took the covers and put them in the bath. She'd have died otherwise. And no, I didn't take any pictures.
Okay. I guess because she's too old, right? That's, Jaya. Okay. What's going on with you today?
I'm fine. I'm ready for my grief counselling. I emailed you Mariana's address. I don't know why you'd want it. I suppose you're going to start doing home visits now, like Dr. Dekker?
Why would we want Mariana? Are we gonna take her out?
Doctor, if you don't want it, don't text me and ask for it. It's all right. I don't mind doing menial tasks for you. Someone has to do them.
Okay.
Yes, Dr. Dekker started doing home visits for Mariana. He said she couldn't concentrate properly in his office. I hope you're not thinking of doing the same thing. I need you right where I can see you.
So Dr. Dekker was doing home visits.
Checks and balances, Doctor. Somebody needs to be watching the watchman, so to speak. Make sure you're helping, not hindering.
Who watches the watchers? That's actually a Twitch achievement, I think.
He probably did his fair share of helping and hindering. He was definitely helping in the beginning, but then seemed to lose sight of things. I think he was so overwhelmed by the patients he was getting. His curiosity just got the better of him. There was a definite turning point.
So apparently Dr. Dekker was doing a good job in the beginning. I think he talked to that trustee guy, got lost in this chaos theory, and then he was losing his mind. He was making the patients go crazy too.
Somewhere around the time Professor Alderby turned up, that seemed to unsettle him. And then we had a flood of extra weird patients. I think it was all too much for him. I think I misjudged him. I hope you deal with it better.
Yeah. I'm getting a drink after each one of these sessions.
Grief is such a strange word if you keep saying it. Grief, grief, grief. It sounds like somebody's being whipped. And you're going to ask me how I feel today?
I did ask you how you feel today. I said, how are you today?
I think that's all settled now. We are agreeing to pay Ben £5,000 and he's agreeing not to say anything about what he saw.
How much is £5,000 in US dollars? And I guess Ben was the janitor who was there the night when Dr. Dekker got murdered. And Jaya and me, this doctor, were there that night, working late.
He thought he saw a creature.
Creature?
Coming out of Dr. Dekker's mouth. Well, at least that's the reason he's given for not emptying the bins that night. Either way, it's not the kind of publicity that we need. Shiny, happy, sane people.
So the janitor was crazy too? Maybe he killed Dr. Dekker because he thought this creature was coming out of him.
It's in that police report that I gave to you. You should really take a look at it.
Alright, that's our evidence, right? Clears of Alderby footage. Crime scene report. Case number 22-1-1084. This is February 14th of 2017. Title is Doctor. What's my first name? There's no first name. That can't be right. In real life, you know, they have, I don't know, last name Dekker. The victim was located in his office, seated on a chair behind the desk, soaked in blood with an obvious chest wound. Possible murder weapons, paper spike, desk accessory, 150 millimeter long protruding from the proximate region of the victim's heart. So the paper spike that he had in his desk was the what got him. Coroner's find estimated from the liver temperature measurements to be between 8:30 and 10:30 p.m. on the 14th of February. So I guess the days always go before the month in a Britain country or in England. Anyway, the note that the victim's body was reportedly discovered at 10:20 p.m. So this was the janitor who found him. Cause of death, exsanguination. I guess that's he suffocated due to punctuation of the left anterior descending coronary artery. Death would have. Let me see. Can I scroll? I can't see any more of it. Hold on. Let's see. Claire's arrest report. To the best of my knowledge, this statement is true. I understand it might be prosecutor signed. Who signed it? I can't even read the name. November 9th. Statement O of Christian Weber, police officer. At 20:40 hours on Tuesday, 8th November, myself and PC 9725 Hall responded to a call receiving from the neighbor of the Bauer House, Weston Park Avenue, concerning the reported disturbance. We arrived at the address and knocked on the front door, but there was no reply. We then examined the rear of the property and gained entry through insecure patio doors. We entered through the property through this door, and I announced myself by shouting, "Police!" but did not hear any response. We searched the premises. Upon entering the dining room, I saw a female seated next to a man who was lying on the ground. The man did not appear to be conscious. Both persons were drenched in blood, and there was a substantial amount of blood on the carpet, walls, and furniture. I noticed what appeared to be a steak knife on the floor, which was also covered in blood. At this point, I asked the woman to put her hands on her head, which she did. PC Holt secured the female while I checked the man for signs of life, but none. I asked the woman her name, and she identified herself as Claire Castleford. I asked if she knew the dead man, and she said that was her husband, David Castleford. I asked what had happened, and she said that she had killed him. Followed a search by PC Holt, which revealed no other persons present at the house. I said to Castleford at 20:52 hours, "You're under arrest on the suspicion of murder." I then cautioned her and placed her in the back of the police transportation. So we're seeing, look, these underlines have to be important. The neighbor called. There was blood, steak knife, dead man, husband, murder. So Claire is saying that the husband survived, but the police are saying the guy died. So she's lying. But if this is true, then she'd be in jail, right? She wouldn't be getting treatment for me.
Some mornings I come into work and still expect him to be here. Sometimes it feels like he actually is here, watching over me. We had a connection. It's gone now, though. You can't have a connection with the dead, can you? Not for too long, anyway. Dr. Dekker asked me to have dinner with him for Valentine's. I refused, obviously, because you don't sleep where you eat or something like that. But it was flattering, especially with competition like Mariana around.
You don't sleep where you eat? I thought it's in America, how do they say it? You don't shit where you eat? Something like that. But so this guy, Dr. Dekker, was trying to get with everybody. Anybody that moved.
Sorry, I didn't mean I was competing. I was happy Mariana was going out with him. I didn't want to be romantic with him. We had a stronger connection than that.
What kind of connection? Why was it a stronger connection if it wasn't
Dr. Dekker and I shared some philosophy. We'd
committed?
both read The Cult of the Kinetic Mind, and we agreed with a lot of what it said. Have you read that book, Doctor?
The Cult of the Kinetic Mind. That seems like a religious book, some type of cult book, right? No, I haven't read it.
In Cult of the Kinetic Mind, the author suggests that everyone is capable of psychokinesis and that the cult leaders specifically had these powers that turned their followers into disciples. It's not a fun read, but if you're into psychology, it's a blast.
And she believes this stuff about psychokinesis. This is why the patients kind of have powers, right? What's psychokinesis?
Psychokinesis is the ability to change the physical world without actually touching it, just by using your mind. It's not just about bending spoons. It covers all sorts of things like telepathy, telekinesis, telesabalas. Shoot me, I'm a Kojak fan.
I never heard of telesavala. I've heard of telekinesis and telepathy, reading minds and stuff, right? Moving objects also. I didn't know. So all these patients, see, they all thought they had some type of psychokinesis. That's why Mariana thinks she's a vampire werewolf. Bryce can slow down, gets an extra hour. Ben can relive the same day. People are weird.
Like I said, all those cool things are in Cult of the Kinetic Mind, apart from Kojak, obviously. If you ever get a patient who thinks they can change the world with just their mind, then duck, just in case they can. But seriously, do a whole load of shrinking and make them better. Whether you believe in psychokinesis or not, you'll need to figure out your approach with those that do.
So Dr. Dekker messed these people up even worse instead of helping them, and I'm gonna have to mess them up. Is that a real book too? The Cult of the... Is that a real book? I might have to look it up.
How do you make people who think they have special powers better? Do you remain passive and support, encourage them, take them away?
Wait, take the powers away? That's a good question. I guess you would want to remove their powers, but slowly, right?
No, not at all in my experience. Dr. Dekker had an unusual number of patients who claimed psychokinesis. Either he'd been specifically looking for them or someone had been sending them. It's entirely possible that someone is targeting this practice with psychokinetic patients. To what end, I don't know. It's no coincidence that most psychokinetic patients are diagnosed as insane, or at least temporarily insane. It's a handy diagnosis if you're facing criminal prosecution, especially if it's for murder.
Ah, Claire. So maybe, but what's her? She doesn't really seem crazy. Like, she doesn't think she has powers, other than that she can see David and a little girl, and David is dead. So maybe the girl's a ghost as well. Oh my goodness! But Jaya does all the. Doesn't she take care of all the office stuff, administration work? So maybe she's finding the patients. She's into this stuff.
I was at home on my lonesome, Doctor, like I said before.
That's right, she did. Why did we ask her that again?
That's what I'd try to do.
Okay.
Honestly, I think Dr. Dekker had a bit of a crush on Mariana, or vice versa. I'm not really sure. There's some footage from their home sessions if you want to see them.
Yeah, let's take a look at those. Where are they at? This is Alderby. No, where's it at? Yeah, show me the footage.
That was a joke, Doctor. I guess we found our level.
I mean, are you joking on our session? Why does grief sound like being whipped?
Oops, that was a strange thing to say, wasn't it? Whipped. Am I all whips and chains in the bedroom or dominant in the boardroom? Don't answer that, it's not a question. It's early days for a harassment suit yet, what with Ben's nervous shock already.
What did you know about Dr. Decker's mom?
Dr. Dekker did send me to see his mother once. She was dying in a nursing home and he didn't want to see her. I remember him calling her a manipulative, evil old hag. He tended not to ask any more questions after that.
Dr. Dekker seemed like he had a lot of issues, but yet he was a psychiatrist. Is that what it was? That's the kind of doctor they are, right? But anyway, did you talk to Nathan much?
I didn't really speak to Nathan that much at all, but I have this strange feeling that I know him really well. I can't quite put my finger on it.
Nathan. Professor Warwick? Who's this? This is a new patient?
Professor Warwick, I'm a physicist. Where's Dr. Dekker?
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody. That's a wrestling reference. No, but he's dead, buddy.
Is he really? Actually dead? Not a worthy adversary after all, then?
Adversary? What, a meeting of the minds? He thought it was a competition of some sort?
Dr. Dekker challenged me. He tried to use my theories against me. Quantum theories.
Psychokinesis belief versus quantum theory?
Do you really want to know? Dekker's eyes used to glaze over whenever we talked about that. He didn't believe in quantum physics. As if it's something that you can optionally believe in. Well, it started with an experiment.
This is interesting because I've heard the term quantum physics, but I guess I don't know exactly what it is. It has to do with physics, right?
Have you heard of quantum suicide, Doctor?
No, I've never heard of that term. What is it?
Quantum suicide is a thought experiment that tries to explain the many worlds theory. You're looking at me blankly. I can see that you don't understand. I knew you wouldn't. Alternate universes. Essentially, if I were to shoot myself, then in some alternate universe, I'd still be alive. Now imagine if I could actually choose that universe. I'm taking a product off a supermarket shelf. Well, I simply applied that logic to something different.
So what is it, he's thinking like a multiverse, multiple universes, where there's a another version of ourselves, or another person. That's us.
Gambling. I set up an experiment whereby I would visit a casino and place a very large bet at the roulette table. Now, I would always bet on odd. Now, the results of this particular experiment were mundane. I won as many times as you would expect according to the laws of probability. But then, I changed a parameter.
What, you bet on even instead? He said bet a large amount of money, so he was gambling his earnings away?
Quantum suicide required a loss of life to make it a realistic thought experiment. So I simply upped the stakes. Every time I bet on odd, I would place everything I had on that one spin of the wheel, and it worked. Well, for a while.
What do you mean everything? Like your life savings, your house? And why gambling?
Why not gambling? My wife Vanessa left me for a neurosurgeon. She emptied our entire combined wealth into her barrister's wallet. I needed more money. Physics provided me with a solution.
So that's just all too coincidence. Everything's adding up for him.
Dr. Dekker killed it, and I can't get it back.
How'd he kill it? But tell me more about your wife.
We were married for 14 years, 7 months, and 3 days.
Oh, down to the letter, he knows it.
Vanessa couldn't have children. At least that's what she told me. She grounded me in reality. I'm not complaining. It's probably what I needed. But part of me always thought that one day and achieve immortality through science, we'd be... It wasn't to be, though.
So this guy wants I guess his wife could get pregnant. Maybe my man was shooting blanks at her. Did it bother you that you couldn't have children?
Well, yes, it bothered me, especially now that I find out that she's pregnant. Oh, no, it wasn't a rocket scientist that was required, but a brain surgeon, it seems. I have considered putting that neurosurgeon onto his darkest timeline. But I'm not a killer, it would seem.
It would seem, but are you?
Well, my theory, quantum gambling. If the stakes are high enough, you will win every time by simply shifting your consciousness into that branch that wins. It's tricky, but it can be done. Dr. Dekker didn't like that. He saw me becoming rich and powerful, and he hated that. That's why he proffered the hangman's paradox.
What is the hangman's paradox?
Well, imagine a judge sentences you to death.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it will be Monday or Tuesday next week, but it will be a surprise. Well, which day do you think you'll be executed?
It's a surprise. I'm not sure. I don't know. Start of the week?
Well, Monday does seem likely, yes. Because if you're still alive on Monday at midnight, then Tuesday won't be a surprise. But if you're sure that it's Monday, then that won't be a surprise either, will it? Dekker tricked me.
Oh, that makes sense. If you survived until midnight on Monday, it won't be a surprise because you're already in Tuesday. I'm gonna die Tuesday. But then Monday, okay, that makes sense. I like that theory.
He told me that sometime in the future I would lose a bet, that I would lose all of my money. Now, this didn't seem likely because I had quantum gambling on my side and it was working. But he unnerved me. He made me doubt myself. And then it happened.
He went bankrupt.
Recently, I lost everything that I'd managed to build up since Vanessa left me.
I don't think he really had this quantum suicide gambling, whatever he calls it. I think he was just going there and getting lucky.
Honestly? Well, I think he feared quantum physics. He didn't like things being explained in terms of science, almost as if he'd have preferred chaos.
I mean, he was into the chaos theory, but I thought psychiatrists are people of science as well. They don't believe in science?
I was at a fundraiser for a charity called Mind Stretch Outreach. Don't know how I got roped into that, I can't remember. But it was full of very clever children with bizarre outlooks on life. And Jaya. It was Jaya who asked me to go.
That's Dr. Dekker's charity, or the one that he founded. But why would Jaya ask him to go, right?
Oh, she's Dr. Dekker's lovely assistant. I imagine she's your lovely assistant now. Yeah, she always smiles and makes me a cup of tea before a session. That smile. Which reminds me, my session. Can we talk about my problem now?
What was that? How are you going to pay me?
It's full of poor kids with very capable minds. I did give them a talk on quantum tunneling once, and they loved it. Not sure it'll put dinner on the table for any of them, though.
Maybe Dr. Dekker's building an army of psychokinetic children. It's Children of the Corn all over again.
Oh, you're going to have to Google that, Doctor, I'm afraid. I'm not a walking Wikipedia. I'd love to tell you, but I am paying you by the hour. Maybe look up Schrödinger's cat whilst you're there.
Whose cat?
I'm not a gambler, Doctor. I'm a scientist. I need more money. It's true I've run out of money for my research. An opportunity has arisen.
What opportunity? And what research?
Quantum gambling. It's a pet project. It's got nothing to do with work. But if I don't have significant amounts of money to lose, and there won't be enough jeopardy for the experiment to work.
So he wants people to, what is it? Donate money, fund him money, so he can go lose it.
A very wealthy group of individuals have offered to pay me a very large sum of money if I attend their next private soiree. They don't want a talk or anything like that. They want a practical demonstration.
Oh, what do they want him to do? His quantum suicide theory?
They'll pay me £1 million if I can successfully survive 6 rounds of Russian roulette. Now, I am worried because of what Dr. Dekker said, but, well, I can't help but thinking that the stakes are so high I can't possibly lose.
Wait, Russian roulette?
What do you think, Doctor? Should I take them up on their offer?
Russian roulette with a gun? Hell no, 6 rounds? There's actually a movie where people would go and like put revolvers. I forgot the name of that movie, but that's what they would do. They would just like shoot, and whoever survived was the winner. Who do you work for?
Well, the Ministry of Defense, of course. Guns aren't going to win the next war. Quantum physics is.
Yeah, let's tell him not to take the offer.
No, I suppose you're right.
You'll die, man.
In a darker timeline, you probably said yes, and I'm dead now. I earn good money where I work. How do I stop losing it?
See, he earns good money. I mean, he's a scientist, of course. Just stop gambling, dude.
I take your point. But I suppose to decide whether to continue gambling or to stop gambling is a gamble within itself, isn't it? Well, my time is up.
I see what he did there.
Will we be having another session or... No, don't answer that. It'll turn you into a gambler like me. Infectious. Isn't it?
How about we gamble whenever you have another session? This guy just had a gambling problem. He wasn't that bad. So he left. That's it. We didn't have anything else to ask him. Here we go. My favorite patient. And what dress is she wearing today? I can see why Dr. Dekker took a liking to her. Let's ask her how she is today. Wait, before you mentioned... Yeah, how she doing?
I'm okay. Thanks for asking. It's rent day, and I always feel a little blue on rent day.
Oh, I'm sure you do. You need help paying that bill? What's rent day? How much is your rent, baby?
Rent day is the day I pay rent to my landlady.
I mean, I knew that. Why would I be asking it? I assumed it.
I've had no blackouts, and I haven't been to the beach since our last session. But I think I will today. Do you want to come with me to the beach?
Alright, let's go. Let's cancel all my appointments, Jaya. No, but this is good. See, she hasn't had any blackouts. And the beach is, she told me that's one of her favorite places to visit. So, I don't see why she can't go. Maybe someone should. Yeah, I mean, for real, someone should go to the beach with her to make sure that she doesn't black out.
Doctor, I think you're getting a little anxious. If you ever wanted to visit the beach, you can just turn up. It's not mine.
Oh, I know. You're not that rich to own your private beach. Can't even pay your rent. Or she's having issues paying it, trouble paying it. But for real, who doesn't get depressed on rent day or whenever you have to pay your bills? I think that's everybody.
Dr. Dekker used to put my checks on that thing. I guess someone thought they weren't getting value for money.
Oh, wait, Dr. Dekker would put her checks through the paper spike like he wasn't cashing them? Well, how else was he getting paid? I mean, I think I know how. You mentioned?
I actually don't have a lot of money. Sometimes a therapy check would bounce, but Dr. Dekker would be okay with it. Oh, my checks are fine though, don't worry.
I mean, of course, she says she has her own business where she just sells jewelry that she makes. Kind of like an arts and craft thing. So, I mean, I figured she can be making much, if anything. She should get a day job and do that on the side.
You've got a good memory, Doctor. Let's talk dreams.
Let's talk dreams.
Sometimes I'll dream about a light.
Mm-hmm.
Deep in the ocean somewhere. I head towards it because it's warm and glowing, like a beacon. And when I'm at the bottom, it's the most beautiful thing. Like a welcoming sun. Like I'm home. And then I wake up.
No, I think she's just drunk and going to the lighthouse and the beach. I feel like I could be a real doctor and help these patients out, but what kind of money problems is she having?
I'm not broke. Men buy me drinks at bars, though. Sometimes I'll get away with not paying at restaurants. Isn't that how it is for everybody?
No, that's not how it is. I mean, she's pretty hot. I can see why people pay her bar tab, but picking up her bill at the restaurant, I don't. Does that happen often?
I mainly like drive-thrus. I don't like crowds, and I find it difficult to stay in the same place for too long. I guess I'm a fidget.
Wait, that doesn't make sense. She says she likes drive-thrus. Who's gonna pay her bill at a drive-thru? I mean, so she says a lot of stuff that contradict her. You just like crowds, but visit nightclubs. That's another good point.
Crowds at nightclubs and bars are different. The lights are dim. You can slink around without attracting too much attention.
I mean, that's true. I thought she was gonna say like everybody's in their own little world, you know, in those places.
Sometimes I'll kiss a guy in a club, and then he just follows me. Wherever I go. It's creepy. I don't want everyone seeing that.
What, you kissing? Or the guy following you? Maybe she gets drunk and then she kisses them. Like randomly walking up to somebody and kissing them because she's drunk. I've seen that happen.
They follow me. Wherever I go.
Even outside the club?
Anywhere. Where do you think they follow me, Doctor?
I don't know. To the beach? Yeah, what happens after?
It depends where they follow me. If they follow me home, they bang on the door for an hour or so, then leave. Other places, they just disappear. I don't see them again.
I heard her say they follow me home and then we bang, and after an hour they leave, like they bang as in they do her. That's what I heard, but initially, but gotta get my mind out of the gutter.
They don't just disappear into thin air. I think they return to the place I found them. But I've not run into the same person twice.
Maybe she thinks she's some type of siren too, like she lures them, right? She likes the beach. She's into all this. I mean, she thinks she's a vampire werewolf.
It's so beautiful. Calls me. It's like I'm in a trance. What does the dream mean, Doctor?
Maybe the dream is symbolic. Maybe the dream means you're searching for something.
I guess. I hate being in the same place for too long. Maybe I'm always searching for paradise or something.
So you're okay with men buying you drinks?
It's just good manners to accept when someone offers to buy you a drink. I'm a very good-natured girl.
Yeah, okay, you're also going to tell me you got morals and manners next. Because look at the way, look how she's looking at me. Why are you good-natured?
Don't you think I'm sweet, Doctor?
Oh yeah, just like honey. Maybe a little too sweet.
I think you're falling for me, Doctor. Don't let that get in the way of helping me.
Am I falling for you? Do you want me to fall for you? Do people follow you to the beach?
Yes, Doctor, sometimes they follow me to the beach, and the next thing I remember, I'm blacked out and naked, shivering in the sand. Who knows what happened to them?
The way she blacks out, maybe they knock her out, or maybe she passes out from being drunk and they take advantage of her. Dang, if that is true, that's kind of sad. Because who knows how many times that's happened to her.
Yes, they follow me home. They're silent. It's like a trance.
See, like a trance. A siren does that. A siren, you know the call of the siren? She'll put you in a trance and then kill you. Do they follow you to bed? Woo! We're asking the nitty-gritty stuff here now.
There was one guy, a real gym body. I let him into the bedroom, but nothing. Nothing I did would stop him just staring at me. It was creepy.
Wait, that's it? Nothing else happened?
I got him to follow me outside, and then I just shut the door.
See, she says she gets them to follow her, so maybe it's she puts them under some spell.
Are we still talking about him? And I thought you were just interested in me, Doctor.
I mean, I am, but I'm trying to figure out who killed this guy. Could have been you.
Dr. Dekker suggested home visits. I think he was probably checking up on his investment. You're not thinking of doing home visits, are you, Doctor?
Wait, investment? Investment how? Nah, I'm a good man. I'm married, baby.
That's good. I'm not sure I can afford any more of your time.
Alright, let's ask somebody else a question. Nathan, who else is left? Chaya. Oh, have you seen Jessica again? Who was Jessica, though?
Jessica is a beautiful woman. I've not spied on her since the incident we talked about.
Oh, that's his neighbor.
I have real feelings for her, Doctor. We've never connected.
Because you're probably awkward, bro.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. It's nice you think I'm capable of such basic interaction with females. But I'm still in awe of her, really. I will think about it, though.
Yeah, just invite her out to dinner, dancing, find out what she likes.
I put my hand through a rusty nail at work today. It hurt like hell and bled like I'd been shot. I closed my eyes and thought, this isn't happening. The nail is just a worm, and it will wriggle through me.
And it worked?
When I looked back, can you guess what I saw?
You saw the worm.
When I looked back at my hand, it was healed. Look, see?
Never mind, Bryce. Don't talk to Jessica. You're sick in the head.
My hand had healed.
Okay.
The nail had become a worm and was wriggling in my palm. It was like a little miracle. Like magic.
I'm gonna have to work. I think he's the most, I don't know, Claire's pretty screwed up as well. But some of them aren't that bad. Like, I feel like they just need a good talking to. Do you think magic healed your hand?
I shouldn't really say miracle or magic. They're words that Dr. Dekker used when he tried to get you to think things and make them real. But do you think it's real, Doctor? That magic is real?
Personally, I mean, yeah, magic can be real, but I gotta heal this guy. I gotta get him away from La La Land.
And so it isn't. I envy you, Doctor.
Practitioner.
I wish I could be so sure.
We got an achievement. Why do you say aft port side?
I find using nautical terms to describe the position of pallbearers fitting. Plus, most of them are 3 sheets to the wind. You know, drunk.
I'm sure you gotta be drunk to lift the coffin, man. Did you intend to... which patient? Yeah, which patient?
Bryce was a pallbearer for David. He's also a grave digger, I believe.
Yeah, and I just got done talking to him. So does she know him?
Smuggling a body out of a funeral can be difficult, unless you pay the right people.
Wait, did she pay Bryce?
David wanted to have a talk about our relationship. Not something any married person wants to hear. He said he'd been with Iris for about a year and that he loved her. He said he didn't love me anymore, which I know is a lie. You don't just fall out of love with somebody. I reacted badly. I grabbed the nearest weapon I could find, which happened to be the steak knife, and stabbed him with it. There was so much blood. I instantly regretted it. So I fixed him.
What would they categorize that? A moment of temporary insanity? Is that a term? So, I mean, how did you fix him? Because she thinks he's alive, right? He's dead. I read the report.
It was about a week later.
About a week ago.
I brought David back to life.
Oh.
Not with voodoo, not with virginal sacrifice.
You thought it.
I just willed it to happen, and it did. Dr. Dekker told me it was possible, but only if you're not buried. He says once you're in the ground, there's no coming back. But until then, you have a chance at resurrection.
That's the craziest thing I've heard out of all the patients now. So yeah, she paid to have the body switched then. It wasn't David in the coffin.
Yes, resurrection. But now that I've seen the results, I don't think there's anything holy about it. I think reanimation is more an accurate term. Like, I'm an evil necromancer raising things from the dead.
What, was he the same though? Yeah, what were the results of this resurrection? There we go. I'm thinking the questions that should need to be asked.
I think his brain was already decaying during the week that he was dead. Important bits. So when I brought him back to life, I didn't heal him completely. Just gave him life in the state he was in. I mean, he's hunting and killing things and trying to roast them on fires he can only light with matches, but that's about it. He's your basic Neanderthal. So I have a problem.
I thought she was going to say she brought him back in a vegetable state. This is kind of like, you guys ever seen the movie Pet Sematary? They come back, but they're not all there. Except in that movie, they come back evil. But this guy just came back like kind of like broken, right?
I'm being charged with murder because the police don't know he's still alive, and I can't get David to vouch for me for obvious reasons. I think it would raise quite a few more questions than answers, which is why I'm hoping that you'd be able to help me.
Help you as in what? Say you're crazy? Like she wants me to diagnose her like that?
Considering the circumstances, I'd be grateful if you could see your way to declaring me temporarily insane at the time of the murder, to lessen my sentence. Because I'm not a killer, but I can't prove otherwise. You don't still think I'm a killer, do you, Doctor?
Yo, that's what I was said. I just said, is there a thing as a temporary insanity? I called it. I called it. But I mean, that was like a heat of the moment. You guys have you ever been angry where you just did something, like hit somebody or something? I don't know, like when you're gonna get in a fight. Like normally, if you think it through, you're not gonna do that. But in the heat of the moment, some emotions take over. So anyway, in her case, I don't think she's a killer. It isn't like she's gonna do it again, is she?
Thank you, Doctor. So then you'll help me. You'll say I was temporarily insane.
I didn't say all that. I don't know about that. I mean, the guy did say think about it. He sat her down, David, the husband, told her he was going to leave her. I mean, I guess she got angry at the moment. How much can you pay me if I say this? No, I'm not for sale. That'd be wrong. What do you guys think? Let's ask her about this. Let's ask her a couple more questions before we give her that answer. Like, let's find out some more info on her.
A paper spike is an odd thing to use as a weapon. I suppose if it went directly into the heart, it might work. Or through his eye, or perhaps through the ear into his brain. Or was it just a frenzied, bloody mess of a murder? Do you know, Doctor?
That was too many details. See, she knew how to kill somebody with a paper spike. I don't know. Yeah, that doesn't sound like temporarily, baby. You're sick in the head. She probably had, and she's a rich girl. She might have killed other people.
Thank you, Doctor. That's all I needed to hear.
Oh no, I didn't want
From
to
you
do
or
that.
Dr. Dekker. But Dr. Dekker wouldn't do that for me. He wanted something else.
Wait, what did he want? And I actually meant to say no. I won't clear that for you. Yeah, what else did he want?
Dr. Dekker teased me mercilessly about my electability. He didn't believe I'd reanimated David. Once, he presented me with a dead mouse and commanded me to give it life again. I didn't, of course. It's not something I'd throw around lightly. He changed his mind about me eventually. And then he mentioned the girl.
What girl? And what? Why did he change
Dr.
his mind?
Dekker asked if I could prove David wasn't dead, so I took him to the lake house.
Mm-hmm.
He saw that I was telling the truth. I can take you to see him too, if you like. Would you like to see David, Doctor?
Yeah, why not just take the police? I don't know if I want to go. Like, I think she might kill me if I go.
Very well. In our next session.
Oh, that might be my last session.
He told me he'd locked up a girl in the basement of his house. Just for me. And he asked me to reanimate her.
Oh, that's the girl Bryce was talking about.
It was Iris.
Who's Iris?
I said I couldn't reanimate something that wasn't dead, and he said that wouldn't be a problem. So I agreed. I just played along. I was hoping it wasn't real. I assumed it wasn't real. But he was offering me what I wanted. A temporary insanity diagnosis.
Who was Iris, though? Is it in my notes? Claire says the girl in the Dekkers. Iris. Is that Dr. Dekker's mom? No, it was a girl, he said.
It didn't happen. Dr. Dekker called me from his house to cancel. He was furious. He said that Iris had escaped, and he blamed me for it. He said that I must have set her free after he told me about her. I knew it was all lies anyways. He was obviously titillating himself by reprimanding me. He knew I'd never want to speak to Iris again, so I couldn't prove it either way.
Oh, my bad. I haven't been paying attention. Iris was the girl that David was seeing. That's the woman that he was cheating on Claire with. How did Dekker know her? How is it possible David was brought back to life? Are you lying about never seen?
You tell me. What could possibly explain that?
Yeah, how'd you bring him back to? Do you think he might be seen?
I assure you, David is not a ghost. I've touched him.
That's what I thought. See, that was my initial diagnosis for her.
Since I brought him back, I felt that there was something different about him, something not quite right. I think it's his brain. But how ludicrous that you can bring someone back in the first place. It's like that book, Pet Cemetery.
I said that too.
Funnily enough, he does smell of earth, but that's because he spends most of his time out hunting.
See, I mentioned Pet Cemetery. I think this is oh man, see, that's what happens when you like read and look at a bunch of stuff. Or that movie Lazarus Pit, where these medical students like kill each other and bring each other back to life. I think that's what it was.
If David doesn't exist, then that means that I really did kill him. He really is buried, and I really should be going to prison for a very long time. That just doesn't seem right to me. It's more probable that I reanimated him under Dr. Dekker's guidance.
I think Dr. Dekker had a knack for brainwashing his patients into thinking that they could have this alternate reality and it was true.
How astute, Doctor. Yes, I did say I hadn't seen Dr. Dekker outside of our sessions. That wasn't a lie. Our trip to the lake house was made during a session.
Oh, okay, well, she's going to take me too, right?
I didn't speak to her this time. Something about her made me feel uneasy. I just watched her from the bedroom window. She'd caught a fish. She was holding it in her hands.
What did the girl do with the fish?
I wasn't close enough to see, but for all intents and purposes, it looked as if the fish bit her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive.
I've never heard that song. Yeah, that seems like that's a made-up nursery rhyme or something, right? Eileen, let's talk to Nathan.
I burned the photos of Hannah. It didn't work. I suppose because the loss was superficial. The next thing I burned was the rocking chair. That worked. I've been getting rid of her stuff ever since. There was a day when I attacked a Salvation Army bin, but I gave in.
So he went from reliving a day over and over to becoming an arsonist. Well, he says he's got to burn things to fast forward the day, or something meaningful has to happen. But anyway, guys, we're gonna stop the part of this playthrough right here because it's getting late and I gotta work in the morning. But thanks for let's see some of the stats. We've made 598 searches. We've got 133 responses out of 258. We're 64% over this act, and we're halfway through the game. I've used 55 hits. Ouch. Yeah, guys. So stay tuned for the next part. I'm gonna try to finish this game out within the next couple days. It's getting good. It's getting interesting. We're gonna find out who killed this doctor. Crazy Dr. Dekker.